Non-form. We live in an era obsessed with forms, chasing the appearance of success, clinging to the image of beauty, attaching to the trappings of status, and accumulating the symbols of wealth. On social media, carefully curated life fragments are cast into golden masks, while consumerism package desire as the sole shape of happiness. Modern people exhaust themselves in the endless cycle of pursuing various forms, yet consistently fail to touch genuine happiness. The Buddhist wisdom of non-form, spanning 2,500 years, enters this conceptual prison like a fresh breeze, offering us a path to essential joy. Non-form means not clinging to any image, characteristic, or concept. It does not deny the existence of the phenomenal world, but rather sees through the fact that all phenomena are temporary manifestations, dependently arising and constantly changing. All phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow. Is not a nihilistic denial of the world, but a liberation of the mind from its attachments. Let the mind be free without abiding anywhere. Precisely realizing the freedom of a mind that does not stagnate in any form. All dharmas are empty inherent existence, merely designated by names. All phenomena are manifestations of consciousness, dismantling the clinging to external objects as truly real. Zen points directly to the original face before thinking of good or evil. All these teachings point to the same truth. Our suffering stems not from phenomena themselves, but from our attachment to them. The suffering of modern people largely stems from over-identification with forms. We are infatuated with form of youth, fearing age. We cling to the form of wealth, anxious about gain and loss. We attach to the form of identity, weary from performance. In the age of social media, this clinging is amplified to an unprecedented degree. We constantly compare ourselves to the meticulously curated forms of others' lives, seeking validation in a virtual world, yet moving further away from our authentic selves. Consumerism incessantly creates and reinforces various forms of happiness, telling us that joy comes from the next purchase, the next upgrade, trapping us in an endless pursuit. How does the wisdom of non-form deconstruct these modern dilemmas? When we see clearly that all these are conceptual constructs, temporary, relative, and dependent on conditions, the mind's clinging naturally loosens. Youth fades, wealth fluctuates, identity change. These are the natural flow of life. But not clinging to any fixed form, we can instead engage with life in a lighter, wiser manner. How to practice non-form? In interpersonal relationships, the practice of non-form means letting go of fixed expectations and labels for others. We often experience conflict because others don't conform to our mental image of a good partner, good child, or good colleague. Liberated from these fixed concepts, we can view every encounter with fresh eyes, allowing others to be as they are, thereby freeing ourselves. Love ceases to be the possession of an object meeting certain standards, becoming instead the sincere meeting of two free souls, revealing natural care, returning to the genuine connection between people. On the level of self-recognition, non-form brings about the deconstruction of self-image. In modern society, people easily identify with their job titles, social status, physical appearance, or psychological traits. When these change, an identity crisis follows. Through the practice of non-form, we learn not to equate ourselves with any limited form, but to abide in the awareness itself that can observe all phenomena. This inner freedom enables us to respond to life's changes with greater flexibility and creativity. In the realm of material consumption, non-form reminds us to see through the various forms of happiness created by advertising and marketing. Happiness is essentially an internal experience, incapable of being permanently guaranteed by any external object. When we cease to outsource our joy to the next purchase or upgrade, we instead become able to more clearly choose what we truly need and value, transforming from slaves of consumption into masters of our lives. So, how can modern people practice non-form in daily life? The Zen saying, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep," offers a simple and direct path to live fully and directly in each present moment, without adding extra concepts and narratives. When eating, just eat. When walking, just walk. When working, just work. This unadorned state of awareness in itself, an embodiment of non-form. Mindfulness practice is another practical entry point. By gently and consistently anchoring attention on the breath or bodily sensation, we observe thoughts and emotions in our mind coming and going like clouds, without identifying with or clinging to any specific content. This practice of observation gradually dissolves our solid identification with mental content, allowing us to experience that broader, freer space of consciousness. Experiences in nature can also help us transcend the prison of concepts. When immersed in the embrace of mountains, oceans, or starry skies, the identity, status, and wealth issues that trouble us daily suddenly seems minuscule and irrelevant. Nature never clings to any fixed form. It is always flowing, changing, transforming, yet contains incredible beauty and harmony. Artistic creation and appreciation is another path approaching non-form. Great art always transcends concepts and categories, directly touching the depths of our being. In Beethoven's music, in Dufour's poetry, we experience a kind of shock and emotion that cannot be reduced to any fixed meaning. This aesthetic experience beyond concept is a glimpse of the beauty of non-form. It must be clarified that non-form is not indifference to life or passive escape. Quite the opposite. Only when we no longer cling to fixed outcomes and forms can we truly engage wholeheartedly with every present moment of life. Like a dancer, only by forgetting all choreographed movements can one dance the most vibrant dance. In the state of non-form, happiness no longer depends on the achievement of any specific condition, but springs forth naturally from the depths of our being. In the crisp sound of a raindrop hitting a leaf, the warmth of a cup of tea after working late into the night, the lightness after putting down a burden. This happiness does not rely on external validation, requires no expensive price, yet is real and enduring. The Buddha said, "Mind precedes all mental states." Our world is essentially constructed by the mind. When we use the wisdom of non-form to deconstruct those rigid concepts and attachments, the world does not become impoverished. Instead, it reveals infinite richness and possibility. Every instant is fresh. Every encounter is unique. Every breath is a new beginning. In this era saturated with sounds and images, the Buddhist teaching of non-form invites us to return to their primordial stillness, before all concepts and forms arise, before all distinctions and judgments appear. That pure awareness itself, it is like a dust-free bright mirror, reflecting all things as they are, yet retaining nothing. When we have the courage to let go of all concepts used to define ourselves, to release all expectations of how life should be, we might be surprised to discover we have not become empty, but have instead touched the wholeness that was never absent. We have not lost ourselves, but have found that more authentic self. We have not missed happiness, but have found it has always been there, in every ordinary moment of life, quietly awaiting our awareness. Non-form is not nothingness, but a sky of freedom. In that sky, we can finally lower our weary wings, letting life unfold like clouds, free as the wind. This, perhaps, is what the Buddha originally pointed to, the path away from the suffering of concepts, leading back to life's authentic, essential joy.